It's a pleasure to be here, and an even greater pleasure to share the stage with Dr. Rao, a person of such esteemed stature. And I'm truly grateful for this opportunity, Doctor.
Thank you.
Your conversation with Mr. Malik was indeed an enlightening and enabling exploration of your work, underscoring the importance of a family doctor in today's often impersonal world. And the questions from the audience were truly insightful and engaging. So now, if you'll allow me, let's explore a bit of the entertainment portion of your book, Doctor. A lot of laugh out loud medical stories in this book here. Laughter really is the best medicine, isn't it, Doctor?
I agree.
And you have clearly written a book which prescribes a healthy dose of that medicine.
I suppose so.
So, dear audience, since you haven't yet had the pleasure of reading the book, and as most of my questions are based...
Is it a pleasure or pain for you?
Pleasure.
Because she went through the book proofreading line by line by line. I told you how difficult it was, especially with a guy like me, whose knowledge of English grammar is quite primitive.
It's not line by line, it's a word by word.
It's a privilege and a distinct honor for me to work with Dr. V.C. Rao. So dear audience, as I was mentioning, since you haven't had the pleasure of reading the book, and as most of my questions are based on the narratives from the book, I'll be setting the stage briefly, giving an overview of the episodes before conversing with Dr. Rao. So shall we get started?
Yeah, go ahead. I thought you already started.
I'm really fascinated by your chapter titles and essay titles. It's so true that the title is a first handshake with the reader, and your titles are so incredibly striking. A spectator medicine, a love story Rahu Kalam style, a prescription for passion, golfing in hell, misunderstood meal plan, a potpourri of ponderings. It's like a delicious box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. They're so catchy, witty and puzzling. How did you come up with such enticing titles, Doctor?
And you were responsible for that most of the time.
Well, honestly, Doctor, your stories were so vibrant and full of character, the titles just jumped off the page. We both just had to, give them a little nudge.
That is true. The nudge was given more by her than me.
One other chapter title that really caught my attention is Diagnosed at First Sight. We have all heard of love at first sight and the idea of a spark there. So tell us, Doctor, do you experience such a spark here also? The medical kind of a spark.
When you see a sword, what else comes to your mind? Medical only, isn't it?
Doctor, this title, Diagnosed at First Sight, is so catchy. It almost sounds like a promotional tagline to your clinic. It's like, Dr. Rao's clinic, get diagnosed at first sight.
If you pass by, I have no board, I have no timings, I have no publicity, and I tell all my patients who come to me now I'm semi-retired. So there is no such static, unfortunately. Even in my best days, I never advertised.
So, after dealing with these titles, let's jump into a few funny episodes. The episode titled Astrologer Approved Appendectomy. Here, Astrologer Approved Appendectomy. In this episode, Dr. Rao shares a story about a patient with acute appendicitis, which obviously is a medical emergency and required immediate surgery. And this patient refused surgery until a specific time because he believed getting operated on during Rahu Kalam, an inauspicious hour of the day, would be life-threatening for him. But an appendix does not wait for his right time to burst and create complications. So this presented presented a unique challenge to our doctor. But how he managed to pull that off, that, dear audience, is a delightful twist, best enjoyed when you turn the pages yourself. So, with this context set, doctor, between acute appendicitis and acute Rahukalam anxiety, which did you find more challenging to treat?
Rahukalam anxiety.
And have you considered prescribing an almanac to the patients along with painkillers?
Yeah, I should start doing it.
Not a bad idea, doctor.
Yeah. Because this kind of faith, it's extremely difficult for a doctor to fight the faith. And often I have faith. And this is only a success story she is talking about.
Right. Now moving to something completely different. Dr. Rao has written delightfully about his backbencher habit, a strategic position he mastered back in his medical school days. And this backbencher habit allowed him to discreetly lead events like meetings, weddings and receptions. And when he is the speaker, he has candidly admitted that he keeps a watchful eye on the back rows, to spot any disinterest or boredom in the audience. Right, doctor?
Yeah, only one person got up and started walking. It was very unhappy. A close friend, Sunil Bandari. But then he came back and said,
So you're secretly keeping an eye now here.
I kept. Fortunately, nobody.
So the confessions of a seasoned backbencher. We appreciate your candor, doctor.
Thank you.
Moving on to yet another unique tale titled To Lie or Not to Lie. Quite the Shakespearean dilemma here, doctor. Perhaps a medical version of to be or not to be.
You see, if someone has asked me, have you ever lied in your life? Number of times I have lied. Always to benefit the patient part.
Yeah. In this episode, Dr. Rao shares his experience with an Orthodox family demanding a Vastu compliant place of death for the relative. So when our doctor did a house call, even though the patient was already dead, Dr. Rao had to lie, telling them, to accommodate the family's concerns, Dr. Rao had to lie, telling them the patient was barely alive, shift the body to a preferred room, Vastu-wise preferred room, perform another pretend checkup there, and then officially pronounce the death. Right, doctor?
Yes, I have done that.
So, after this encounter, do you think Vastu and Rahukalam crash course should be made a mandatory part of the MBBS curriculum?
I suppose in parting, you could tell the medical students, look here, when you are confronted with a problem like this is how you should handle it.
Yeah.
Not a different course or
Perhaps an elective on how to do pretend checkups also. But all joking aside, doctor, this indeed is a reminder that empathy is just as important as expertise, especially in the medical.
more important.
Yes.
Expertise you can always get,
Right.
but to get empathy, it has to grow in you and it should become a part of you.
Yeah.
And that differentiates from a good doctor from an indifferent doctor.
Right. And it expects doctors to be culturally sensitive.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Moving on to something which is familiar to all of us, or at least most of us, the one more thing syndrome. Here, Dr. Rao shares a funny story about a doctor's frustration. Typically, after a long consultation and writing the prescription, and just when doctor thinks he's done with the patient, instead of leaving, pipes in, "Doc, one more thing, I forgot to tell you, I had this headache also, or I had this gastritis also," or something like that. This small detail, the one more thing, often forces a complete re-evaluation of the diagnosis done and the prescription given or the treatment prescribed, right, doctor?
I agree. This often happens, and it's so irritating to the doctor that's why I call it as one more thing syndrome.
And he candidly admits that whenever such one more things happen, he has often felt like throwing the stethoscope at the doctor. The patient.
Yeah, you see, you spend 15-20 minutes interrogating, examining, coming to a conclusion, and that guy in the end says, "Doc, I forgot to tell you, I have also a problem in passing urine." I go, "Why didn't you tell me? You didn't ask me." So then follows 15-20 minutes of examination, and you find that is much more important than the first consultation. So half an hour, 45 minutes gone. So don't you feel like, am I not justified in throwing this letter?
You are. But thankfully he hasn't done that yet so far. So let me ask you, doctor. During this book writing, were there any such one more thing where you felt like throwing the manuscript down instead of a stethoscope?
Yes and no. Yes, because it is a. I told you in the beginning, writing a story not all that difficult, but editing that story is extremely difficult, and you have felt it often sitting with me and my wavering gaze and my attention, and bringing me back to the sentence. Or often I disagreed with her, and then we had kind of a small tiff, and we managed somehow.
Guilty as charged, doctor. And it was more of a one more edit syndrome. And then we have this penny pinching patients. Here is a hilarious section on patients who really don't want to pay the doctor's fees. The ones who purposefully forget their wallets at home, or come and say, "I'll pay you later, doctor," or employ such clever tricks to, dodge the bill. So, right, doctor?
See, people want their lawyer to be very wealthy. They want their doctor to be not so wealthy. The universal fact. They expect us to serve people with, if possible, gratis. Because you are a service guy. You are not like a lawyer defending a client, or you are supposed to serve. When you serve, you don't expect the patient to pay you. That apart, this may be a universal tendency, but lately it's becoming less and less. But having said that, it is also true that there are some patients who are wealthy. It's not that they are poor, but by nature they are misers.
Now they collect it in advance.
And it is, in fact, several of these episodes I have enjoyed writing about these people. Now, how clever they are and how they manage to dodge paying fee. If you use in fact, every practice has about 10 to 15%, or even some practices more than that, of percentage of patients whom we ourselves don't take the money. I don't take money from teachers, ex-army persons. I don't take. Like that, poor patients who can't afford to pay, we ourselves don't take money. But then there are people, these are not people who can't afford to pay. What I have quoted in my book, these are patients who could afford to pay. And that fight I enjoyed.
Very enjoyable chapter, doctor, that penny pinching with a lot of episodes, hilarious. So after dealing with these penny pinchers, have you ever considered giving a buy one get one sort of deals on your consultations?
This is beyond me.
Like pay for one consultation, get a follow-up free.
She reads and does a lot of marketing research, I think.
And I certainly hope we don't have any of your penny pinching patients here in our audience tonight, doctor.
No.
Otherwise, they would ask you for a 50% off on your book
getting some concession here.
Right.
No?
Alright. So, dear audience, so far we have seen the doctor's mind. Now let's explore a bit of his heart. Because
I thought you were exploring my heart also.
heart also. Yes. Because beyond his medical expertise and patient stories, this book gives us a glimpse into Dr. Ram's diverse interests and passions, including cricket, golf, Hindustani classical music, bird watching, tree watching, arts appreciation, and literature, notably Woodhouse, revealing his multifaceted personality. So now let's do a quick rapid fire on these fascinating hobbies of his. If you'll indulge me, doctor. Here is the first question. Untold tales. How much real, how much fiction?
You see, all the incidents are real. The fiction part of it is my putting muscle and bone into this story. See, an incident happens, let's say a patient comes with high blood pressure. That is nothing, it's an incident. But if I write about her concern about her blood pressure recorded in my home is something different, and here it is something different. And she's so anxious that her heart rate goes up and she looks at me, not today, but 10, 25 years. So, that is a story. So, that's how it is.
Right. Next question. Most annoying patient dialogue. One more thing, or I googled it.
One more thing.
Unwinding on a stressful day. A dose of Bismillah Khan or Odhosiana.
Bismillah Khan.
So Hindustani classical music wins. Suppose a patient comes in singing a Hindustani raga with terrible notes. So your prescription would be singing lessons or referral to your music teacher.
I only hope he doesn't come singing into my clinic.
83 years. Long fuse finally, or still short fuse?
Sometimes short fuse. Sadly.
So still sporting that angry young man vibes. Right?
Not really. I never wore a white coat actually.
So we'll have to maintain a safe distance then. Your favorite instrument to listen to while writing? The Shehnai, sitar, tabla.
Shahani.
Your most favorite episode from the book and why?
Non-medical actually, that story. It's called a music concert. Why? Because it is the main personality in that episode was a music lover of some sort who, when confronted with classical music, felt so bored that he had a raging headache, and he cursed the organizers for having got him there to listen to Pilsen Jersey.
And for that Konkani touch also, no? The dialogue?
Yeah, I heard it. In fact, I spoke that language very well when I was young, but I forgot about that language. This was told to me by the late Nandev Kamath, who is no more. He told me in pure Konkani, and it's extremely difficult to translate from Konkani to language to English, and I've tried my best.
Flavor is not lost though, doctor.
Nandev told me this story. He was a good friend of Roger also.
So with this Konkani touch, sticking to your South Canada roots then.
Konkani is not my mother tongue. Kannada, a dialect of Kannada is my mother tongue, but we are a mixed Tulu and Kannada speaking community.
Nice. Your book writing style, test match, ODI, up T20.
Test match.
Next question, T20 cricket. BCCI president is Kerala, so choose wisely, doctor. T20 cricket, good, bad, ugly.
Ugly.
Golf, frustration, addiction.
Frustratingly addictive. Frustratingly addictive. I think more frustration than addiction.
What's more satisfying, sinking a long putt or finishing a long consultation?
Long putt.
Next question is about two of his nature-related hobbies, bird watching and tree watching. Let's see which wins. Doctor, a rare bird sitting on a rare and beautiful tree. So do you bird watch or tree watch?
Tree watch. Beautiful tree.
19th hole cocktail. For those of you not so well versed with golf lingo, 19th hole refers to the post-golf drinks at the clubhouse. So doctor, 19th hole cocktail, anti-anxiety drug or something stronger?
Anti-anxiety drug it is, basically. And we look forward to it after 4 hours of mess that we deal and we come. And then it's a big relief. And 2 years he has been absent. Roger, looking forward to you getting back to this our circle.
So golfers have got the prescription.
Don't think I'm a drunkard. I hardly drink. A glass of beer is what I enjoy most. And that too, I carry it for 2 hours.
Sometimes two.
Sometimes too, when you are around.
And our last question to wrap up this evening. If your book were a movie, who would you cast as Dr. Rao?
Amitabh Bachchan.
What a great to end. What a great to end.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swetha.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, Swetha. Excellent.